Yeah, let's go for it.
All right. Hi, everyone. So excited to be joined with Annette Garstek again. If you all missed our first conversation, please go back to my YouTube page and check out our first one because there was a lot of good nuggets in there. So Annette, do you want to just quickly introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Oh yeah, that'll be great. My name's Annette Garstek, and I'm an executive career coach. I guide ambitious women on a path to accelerate their careers, transition to a new industry, get paid what they're worth. Um, it's super fun, super rewarding work, helping people find what they're meant to do in this world.
Love it. Love it. Thank you. And I'll, it's been a while since I've sort of introduced myself, so I'll be happy to just go back and tell everyone a little bit about what I do. First, I look like I'm wearing a pajama shirt, but I'm not. I promise it's actually like a shirt. I just realized that. I was like, it looks like I'm wearing pajamas, which I guess I'm home, so I guess I could be. So I'm pretty chill is one thing, so whatever. But I am Rachel Dorsey, and I am a financial wellness coach. So, I work with people really in all places, but a lot of my clients are couples who are just like, they feel like, together we make a decent amount of money, but yet we're living paycheck to paycheck and we're incurring debt and we're just really not sure like where to get started or how to get out of it. So I do a lot of mindset work with my clients. And then I also do some real hard like numbers to paper, getting a budget put together and just getting organized in that way. So anything finance related up to financial advising. So I don't, not including financial advising. So if you have some money you want to invest, fantastic. I have some great financial advisors I could refer you to. But if you're not quite there yet and you're just trying to get a handle on, just your day-to-day, then that's what I do.
Amazing. I love what you do.
Yeah. Okay. So again, as I mentioned earlier, this is part 2. So when Annette was here before, she was telling us about some things we could get from our employer that could help us either save money or actually get some money. And so again, if you didn't listen to that, please go back and listen to part 1. And part 2 is just going to be a little bit of an extension of that. And I'm going to let Annette get started.
All right, sounds good. I'm so excited to continue the conversation from a little over a month ago about maximizing your employee benefits, because lots of times our employer gives us things, money, opportunities, and we don't know they're there, and therefore we're not using them. And if you can use your employer's money and put aside your money and save it and do things like you're talking about, pay off your debt, why wouldn't you do that? So we left off last time talking about 401k, and we had lots of great ideas about 401k. My idea is kind of a sneaky one, and I don't think people think about it too often, but if you get a raise at that time when your new raise is going to kick in, lift your level of contribution up in your 401k. It's kind of sneaky, right? Your brain hasn't adjusted to your new level of income. You got a little raise. If you up your contribution 1% or 2%, you're probably not even going to feel it.
Yeah, love that.
But your retirement age, the retirement age and that, or Rachel, will really, really, really like us a lot for doing that.
Yeah, I love that because, a big thing is out of sight, out of mind, and also making it easy, right? So that does 2 things. It does both of those things. It's you're setting it up, so it's automatically coming out. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to do anything. You set it up and it automatically comes out. So it's easy. And then also you don't see it. Like it's not money that's in your paycheck that you're used to seeing. It's already, it's also being taken out pre-tax, being taken out before you actually get, your check with the money in it. And so it's great. And, I'll just kind of go back to a little bit about what I do with my clients is if they have particular habits that are maybe not so positive, if they get a raise, they're just going to increase those habits. And so, unless you get a real handle on what those habits are, the best thing to do is, like you just said, just increase that a little. You don't have to increase it as much as your income has increased, but a little bit to get a little bit more in there. And that retirement is such a great suggestion.
Yeah, I love that tip. I used to give that tip to my team members all the time. And when I was starting out, that's what I did to get my contribution, maxed out and get my employer match to the highest level that I could. So yeah, it's a good tip. And you probably are coming up on that time, right? Lots of bonuses happen at the end of the year. A
Yeah.
lot of rate increases start the beginning of next year.
Hmm.
So it's really a good practice to visit right now.
And, let's just remind people from our first video is like, if your employer is matching 4%, 5%, whatever, you should, if you can, if you're able, you should put that amount in there because it's free money. If you're putting 2% and your employer is matching 4%, you're losing out 2% of free money, that you could be getting. So if you can bump it up at least to what your employer is matching, that's great.
Yes, so good. Wonderful. All right, let's talk a little bit about personal development benefits. I did not have all of these available to me when I was working in corporate America, but I know some things have changed during the pandemic. So, tuition reimbursement or tuition assistance plans are really great. I leveraged tuition reimbursement to finish my undergrad and my graduate degrees, which helped me avoid a lot of student loan debt. Now, it was a challenge, of course, because my benefit was reimbursement. So I had to lay the money out every semester, every quarter, whatever it was at the time. And then I got reimbursed once I earned my grade. So there was a period of time where it was completely my investment, but I did get paid back rather quickly. So I don't know if this is a good financial planner kind of option, Rachel, but how I did it was I used a low interest credit card or a 0% interest like balance transfer offer. And I sort of rode that out, making a minimum payment until my tuition reimbursement came. And then I paid the rest off.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't have the cash to pay for it up front, but you are going to get reimbursed in a pretty reasonable time frame. Yeah. I mean, putting it on a low interest credit card or even taking out a personal loan that can be lower interest is no big deal in the short term. You just have to promise yourself that when you get that reimbursement from your company, you're going to put it on that card and you're not going to go spend it on something else. But yes, if you can get free or like just a tiny bit of interest of some education, do it. I would highly recommend doing that.
Yeah, it helped me finish my undergrad degree. It took a little longer than most, but I got it and it's mine now.
Yeah.
And then during the pandemic, did you hear about some employers offering like student loan repayment options?
Yep. I've heard of that.
Yeah, so some employers want to help their employees with their student loan obligations, offer repayment assistance. And I know that it's continuing now. So that's something that you may want to check out and investigate for your employer.
Yeah, and there's so much going on with student loans right now, so there's a lot to look at. I think I posted a decent article a week or two ago on LinkedIn, but it's tough to find some of that information around student loans right now. But anything your employer can do to help, do it, because we don't know how long it might take for actual reimbursement through the government. And some people are now not being able to qualify. So yeah, if there's something your employer can do to help, take advantage of it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. If they're offering it, take it.
Yes, agreed. Now, some of those benefits, I know my tuition assistance required me to stay with the company for a certain period of time. So definitely read the fine print, know what you're getting yourself into. And then even if you don't end up staying, know the rules for payback.
Right. And they usually require a certain grade, right? You have to get like an A or a B.
That's correct. Yeah, I had to get, I think, an A or a B for undergrad, and then I had to get an A to qualify for repayment for my grad degree.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, but you know what? Maybe that'll push it too. Like I'm going to try really hard because I know if I don't do great, I'm not going to get reimbursed for this.
Yes, exactly. It does actually help you perform best. Plus, who wants to turn in that reimbursement form with like a C on there? Oh, how embarrassing, right?
That is just like goes back to so much of what like I say, and just in life in general, like having that accountability partner, even if that means it's your employer, but somebody you have to like own up to, like, and show like this is what I did. And that's sometimes what my clients say about me is like, I just like having a meeting with you on the calendar because I know that like if I do this, I have to tell Rachel about it next week, and so it's just the same exact thing what you just said. Yeah, you have to turn in something that has how well you did. Yeah. you
It's
don't
not
want
funny, but yeah, our brain totally goes to those
to-
places
Yep.
of
Mhm.
being accountable to somebody else,
Yeah.
not wanting to disappoint you, right?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
And then how about some continuing education or learning stipends or allowances? Tech companies are really good with this, right? They give you some sort of budget or stipend every quarter, every year that allows you to learn or deepen your personal development. Like maybe you can use it to go to a conference. Maybe
Mm.
you can
Mhm.
pay for like your project management certification prep.
Yeah.
Some industries will send you to a convention. So these are super amazing benefits, and you get to learn something that's happening right now or something that helps prepare you for the next level of your career.
Yeah, that's great. And, often you probably get to pick something that you're interested in. It's not necessarily something you have to do, but it's something that you can do. And so do some research, like, figure out what your company offers, but then do some research and see what is happening. Even if it's not in your state, like see if your company will pay for you to travel and go do something that you find really interesting and exciting for free.
Yes, and sometimes like companies will let you do that too if you promise to bring information back and
Mhm.
share it with your department or
Yeah.
do a presentation. It's a great place to make industry contacts. I know we're not exactly talking about that, but it's just good for your career overall. So
Yeah.
check that out and see if it's possible for you.
Yeah. That's awesome.
This is kind of a weird off topic one, but transportation or parking reimbursement.
Oh, yeah.
So
Mhm.
some companies will offer you like a discount, like a bus pass discount, or credit towards public transportation or parking costs if you're still commuting to the office. I had a
Mhm.
job like this where I worked in downtown Cleveland and I got like a little stipend every month. I just had to turn in my parking that I paid for a parking pass somewhere.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then if you're working from home, sometimes they'll do a home office stipend, or they'll help cover your high speed internet
Yeah.
access.
Yeah. Yeah, some companies also do the pre-tax too with the
Mm.
transportation. So I've worked for a few nonprofits in my life, and that's what most of them did. So it was kind of like an HSA, FSA,
Oh,
but you could do it for transportation. So like if I'm paying for parking every day, I'm still paying for it, but at least I'm taking it out of my paycheck pre-tax. So it's not something I'm paying, later. It's being paid for ahead of time, and it's also, pre-tax, like I said. So I'm trying to think of exactly what it's called, but it's pretty obvious. And if you have an HSA or an FSA, I think it's more associated with the FSA. You could probably easily find that, but a lot of times your company does it. And the good thing about that is ahead of time exactly how much parking it's going to cost
yeah.
or how much public transportation is going to cost you for that year. So you can take out just that exact amount of money, and it comes out like every pay.
Oh,
With the
nice.
FSA, sometimes, you're guessing as to what you're spending, but with parking or transportation, you know exactly what it is. So you can take that money out, plan ahead, and then, yeah, and that's also sort of out of sight, out of mind too. It's taken out before the actual money is coming to your bank account. So
Yes.
that would be good. Mhm.
So your brain doesn't want to spend it. Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
got it. All right. And then this is the last tip that I have because we're coming up that time of year. It's the end of the calendar year, and some of the employees want to help you do good or support a cause that you love. So some employers offer a nonprofit donation match. This was one
Mhm.
of the coolest benefits I ever had a chance to take advantage of. And it gets lots of attention. Like Giving Tuesday is right after the Black Friday,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And what it is if I would make a donation to a nonprofit of my choice, turn in the receipt that I'd made the donation, then my employer would match that donation. So instead of the Alzheimer's Association only getting $100, they would get a $200 donation,
Mhm. Mhm.
which doubled the impact that I could make as an individual. And I loved
Mhm.
that benefit. I used it every single
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. So my shirt that is not that is actually a t-shirt. Friends of City Dogs Cleveland.
Yes.
That's personally, I'm just gonna plug that. That's my nonprofit of choice. I volunteer there. I've actually just had my 4-year anniversary of volunteering there.
Congratulations.
And so thank you. And some companies also, as you and I sort of chatted about before we started, offer some paid time for you to go volunteer. So it's usually, I don't know, maybe 5 hours a month or 4 hours a month. And you can go volunteer during work hours. So you're getting paid to volunteer to do something that you enjoy doing. And I think it's less about money, like getting money from it, but more about like getting enjoyment out of your life and out of your career. And if your job is offering you these things, and those are things that you would really appreciate, take advantage of it, because it's going to make you a happier person, and just like you said, if, gosh, I really would love to donate $100, but I just don't have it right now. I do have 50 though. And I know my company is going to match it. So that's just like me giving $100, so got to talk to your HR folks and, get everything you can out of it, because if it's being, and that's the sad truth is, I'm sure Annette, is that a lot of things are being offered and people aren't taking advantage of it.
Right.
And then what happens too is if a company is offering something year after year and no one's taking advantage of it, they may stop offering it, because why am I doing this? Why am I putting this effort into it if people aren't taking advantage of it?
Yes, that's very true. No, maximize the benefits. People always talk about work-life balance, but these are the things that help you feel more balanced. Going back to school, getting your certification. When the company gives you a benefit like that, it helps you feel appreciated as well. And it just makes your life experience at work that much better.
Yeah. And you brought up something else. I don't think anybody wants to hear about it, but it's not that far from Christmas. The holidays are scarily right around the corner.
Yes.
And so, and one thing, unfortunately, a lot of people, myself included, get into is that we forget. And then we're like, oh, here it is. And then we're like, where do I get all this money to buy gifts for my friends and family? But I had an employer once years ago that actually offered a pre-tax Christmas fund. I don't know if that's what they were calling it, but so I was able to start in January and take out as much as I'd $5, $10, whatever, a month or a pay. And it would, again, be taken out of my paycheck before the money hits my bank account. And it was taken out pre-tax as well. And then I think like November 1st, somewhere around there, you got the money. And so it's your money, right? Like you technically paid for it, but it was out of sight, out of mind. It was easy. And it's something you probably also forget about, right? I mean, just, paycheck after paycheck, $5, $10 is coming out. You're not noticing it. And then all of a sudden, November, you're like, oh, I have a couple $100. And so that can also help prepare you. Now it's probably a little late now to be starting that for this year, but definitely something to look at. And I think you and I talked about this the last time, even if there's something that Annette and I are talking about, and you're like, gosh, that sounds really great, but I know my employer doesn't offer it. Ask, like, say, hey, I've heard that some companies are offering this, holiday pre-tax, sort of bonus. Is that something that this company could consider? The worst they could say is no. But, if you brought to them a couple different things, they may very well pick something and decide to start doing it. So, don't be afraid to ask, and don't be afraid to take advantage of the things that are being offered to you.
Yes, absolutely. And sometimes it's just as simple as reading your employee manual or checking out, and it's open enrollment time too, Rachel. So definitely get in there and take a look. Don't just sign up for the same benefits you've always had because you've always had them.
Right.
Take a look and make sure that you're doing what's best for you and your family, and that you're setting your future self up for success in retirement, Christmas gift club, all of those things. You can do something today that you'll be so happy you did next year. Next 10 years.
Yeah. So I love that. So I just literally read a quote that said something like, this time next year, you'll wish you would have started today. So I'm like, love that. Because that's like, sometimes when you're like, tomorrow I'll do that. But then if you look back a year ago and you're like, yeah, I wish I would have done that back then, I would have been better set up now. That's your motivation. Like, get set up now, especially as you just mentioned, it is open enrollment. So now if you want to do an FSA or you want to do that pre-tax transportation that maybe you didn't know you even could do, now's the time to sign up for that.
Yeah. Now's the time to sign up to go back to school.
Yeah.
So that you can start in January or start in the summer. Don't just keep waiting because you're not sure how. Find out how and do it. Get somebody's help, get Rachel's help, get my help, and we can help guide you along that path so that you have options and you can do more and do better for yourself.
Yeah. And it just like, you mentioned, or one of us mentioned, like the work-life balance and how important that is. And it's all about like happiness and positive mental health. And that's what, like, when I'm talking to my clients, of course, we're talking about cutting out cutting out some expenses and,
Right.
like putting more to debt. But what is that about? It's about feeling better. It's about feeling more confident, feeling more comfortable, feeling less anxiety. So it's not about just, I don't want debt. It's about, I don't want debt because it is going to make me feel exponentially better. And my life will be XYZ if I no longer have that, so that's what it all comes down to, is just feeling better and less anxious and less sad about, some things that might be going on. If you take advantage of this stuff, it's going to help with your, mental health, which of course leads to also your physical health. And it's, it's all connected. So it's all about just feeling good, taking advantage of the things that are out there and doing what you want to do. Or hopefully a really great price, like free, if your employer is offering it.
Exactly.
Okay, well, Annette, do you want to just give a quick sort of update on where we can find you? Do you have a website? Where do you post? Where can folks find more?
Yes, I do have my own website. It's AnnetteGarstuck.com, but you're welcome to find me on LinkedIn. That's where I primarily hang out most weekdays. And it's just under my name, Annette Garstuck.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Annette, your LinkedIn is great. I love it.
I'm wonderful. Thanks.
Working on LinkedIn. I haven't quite got there, but I do also have a LinkedIn, just my name. And my website is effortlessbudgeting.com. And then I have Instagram and Facebook, also Effortless Budgeting. And then I will be posting this on my lovely YouTube channel, which you can just also find through Effortless Budgeting. So, and again, please go back and listen to part 1, because we really got into some really good stuff during that episode. So
agreed.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thanks again, Annette, for joining. This was lovely, great. And I hope everyone has learned some stuff and is going to go back to their HR department and take advantage of some things.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me, Rachel.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.